I'm often asked, what were the typical faces and phenotypes of Mexicans, Central Americans, and Mesoamericans? Well, let's look at the evidence. And let's look at books, murals, reliefs, pottery, beautiful figurines, statues, and a lot more. So let's go in mostly chronological order and begin with the Olmecs. The Olmecs are the sister culture of Mesoamerica. They're the first city builders in Mesoamerica. They live throughout the Gulf Coast, but they're not one single monolithic group. And this is what their art looked like. Here's an incredible jade mask dated 900 to 400 BCE. Here are some more stone and jade masks. Now look at the eyes, look at the lips. Do they look Mexican to you? Guatemalan? Definite maybe, but you really get a sense of Asian phenotypes when looking at this art. And you can see the high cheekbones, the epicanthal fold of the eyelid, and other general Asiatic features, including lips. Now these Olmecs appear Asian because of the Asian DNA brought by Asian immigrants who migrated some 15 to 30,000 years ago across the Bering Strait and into the Americas through water and land routes. They're the first Americans. Scientists have extensively tracked their DNA haplogroups across Asia. First Americans were launched from Eastern Asia, crossed the 50 miles wide land bridge of the Bering Strait. Some canoed along the Pacific coast, and some waited for the ice to melt in Beringia, then entered and settled across the Americas. Now here's more examples of Mexico's ancient Asian genetical heritage found in the Olmecs. Stone mask from Veracruz, their phenotypes are still evident today. Lying down on the job. A jadeite portrait mask from Veracruz. Looks like family. Dad! Love you, Dad. Whoa! These elongated heads are a trip and become somewhat common. They also remind me of my third wife. And if you're asking if people really look like this, then the answer is maybe. Some Mesoamerican elite were known to shape and elongate their children's heads by pressing them between boards. Even Frida liked these Olmec heads. Look at this elongated Olmec heads that's nearly 3,000 years old. This Olmec is known as the wrestler, but I always thought he was ska dancing, which is called skanking. And finally, my body type. And just like today, Mexicans come in all different sizes. A very round person seated next to a hunchback who are actually thought to have special abilities. And a ceramic chubby baby. Now these are the famous 17 Olmec basalt heads. They share similar traits as previous Olmec art, but they appear to have additional features. They appear to have some Polynesian phenotypes. Polynesian DNA is found in some first Americans throughout the aforementioned Beringia route, but this may also be the result of a trans-Pacific migration from the South Pacific. Now this theory is picking up some steam, although one study only dates Polynesian contact to 1200 CE. Nevertheless, Asia is still the origin of American ancestry, either through a northern or southern Polynesian route. There is clear DNA from Asia especially East Asia, Siberia, and some Polynesian and selected native Mesoamericans. Now, these artworks may reflect Asian genetic ancestry, and it's a phenotype you can still see today in parts of Mexico and Central America. Zapotec art is incredible, and they thrived before the birth of Christ to the Spanish conquest near the isthmus of western Mexico, including Oaxaca. There's only a few Zapotec artworks for you here, but the first is an incredible container portrayed as a seated woman. She's wearing spooled earrings, an elaborate necklace, and has similar Asiatic phenotypes seen previously, and some great teeth. Here's another seated figure from Oaxaca, 250 to 600 BCE. She has giant ear spools and an epicanthal fold. What an amazing headdress, probably representing quetzal feathers with other flora. And I love the buck teeth. And the face reminds me of neighbors I had in East LA. It looks just like AMLO, the former Mexican president. This artwork was recently unearthed from the tomb of a man and a woman. The figure is adorned with jewelry and a quetzal feather headdress. The Maya flourished supreme 250 to 800 CE, but began as early as 1000 BCE. They are still Maya today. Ike. Here's an incredible stucco mask from Palenque. It's nearly lifelike. Do you see Asian phenotypes here? Ceramic masks. Even this Maya work from a Campeche pyramid shows previously discussed phenotypes. This jade and obsidian mask is incredible. The next pieces are figurines from the island of Jaina in Campeche, Yucatan. Similar facial features as before, although I don't think those feet are to scale. Pretty flowers with an old man at the center. There's lovers in the far right, an older man with a younger woman. And it's actually a whistle. What do you see? More Asiatic features on this ceramic piece. But remember, we're not saying he's Asian, but there's certainly Asiatic phenotypes. In the last few and next few slides, you can see the Maya blue color that was only made by the Maya. I think he likes you. Jaina, a man from the Yucatan, and hundreds of years before Star Wars Boba Fett, the Maya at El Peru in Guatemala created these amazing hooded artworks.
He's no good to me dead. What if he doesn't survive?
Hey, come on, put a shirt on. But he definitely has Asiatic characteristics from northern Guatemala or southeast Mexico. Him too. This is a ceramic whistle, shaped like a female holding a monkey and child. She's from Guatemala and has huge ear spools. These are incredible pottery, adorned with images that tell a story. And they remind us, Native Americans can be dark. They have melanin, but we're not the same size or color. But we are people of the sun. Even in the murals at Bonampak, Mexico, dating back from 791 BCE, more than 1200 years ago, we have color. here's an incredible incense holder. It's called a censer, and it shows a female noblewoman from Palenque, Mexico, with an elaborate headdress with a serpent topped by a bird. She's wearing a necklace and spooled earrings, and the phenotype is still common. This is the Temple of the Inscriptions in Palenque. It's one of the few pyramids that is also a burial site. The 11th ruler of Palenque was buried at the bottom of that winding shaft and underneath this amazing sarcophagus. His name is Ganich Hanab Pakal, who reigned from 615 to 683 CE. He became king at age 12 and died at the age of 80. Here are stucco artworks of Pakal and a contemporary phenotype you can see today. This image is an AI creation. This one's just cool. The last section of my art are reliefs. This one shows King Pakal. Now here's Lentil 26 in modern day Mexico. The stone relief represents Lady Shuk, helping to dress her husband for battle. Lentil 24 is also from Yachilan. It shows Lady Ixcabat Shuk pulling a rope of thorns or obsidian through her tongue as part of a bloodletting ceremony. Here's what that looks like. Now look at the faces from this limestone artwork from the 8th century. It shows the god, the supreme sky deity, attended by a wife or other goddess. Between the two, by the woman's hand, is a so-called box god. Monument 168 from Tonina, a 6th century vigorous young king. It's made out of limestone in 577 BCE. Teotihuacan is about 30 miles north of Mexico City. Teotihuacan was the grandest city in Mesoamerica from 100 BCE to 800 CE, and its empire stretched all the way to Guatemala. Now here's a tiny figurine with giant air spools. These two pieces were found underneath the pyramid of the feathered serpent, dated 200 to 250. The tunnel was covered in a shiny metallic mineral to mimic nighttime stars, and the two statues depict the first man and women in the city's origin story. And the couple was placed 16 inches near the exact center of the pyramid, the feathered serpent. And this piece has a broken leg, and it was intentionally broken 350 to 600 CE. He has squared off head and ears and arching eyebrows. And this is a common phenotype at Teotihuacan. The mask was likely meant to be worn, just like this one, but with teeth. This one too. Another mask with turquoise and a red necklace. Teotihuacan also has murals, and you can get a sense of the facial features, nose and profile. In this incredible mural, you can see the epicanthal fold and nose and lips that we've also seen before, especially among the Maya. This portrait head is from the Olmecs at Veracruz. It's nearly a lifelike cholo, but the piece shows Mesoamericans did have facial hair, although it's somewhat rare. ¿Qué onda? Nice toenails. An amazing piece of a Veracruz man wearing an apparent canine headdress. And he's seated with two dogs. The head of the famous Toltec Atlantean figures. And does it look Mexican? An incredible ceramic work from Xochipala. And there's this dude. Alright, into our last group. We're nearly done. The Aztecs were in the basin of Mexico from around 1275 to 1521, where they created their capital city, Tenochtitlan. Now here's a volcanic stonework of Coatlicue with an older model. A sandstone work. A vessel with the head of the Aztec pulque god Mayahuel. A basalt stone. A stone figure of Xochipilli on the right. And on the left looks like, I don't know, Cheech and Chong's ancestors. You can make your own joke. Xochipilli, the Prince of Flowers. A stone kneeling woman that looks like the artwork of Chalchiclicue, the Aztec goddess of water. Here is the Mexica ruler, Cuauhtémoc, which means descending like an eagle. Okay, that's it. Let's wrap this up because we're just about done. So, what do Mexicans and Mesoamericans look like? Here are this documentary lecture's takeaway points. 1. Mesoamericans don't look the same. There isn't one Mexican, Guatemalan, or Central American, or Mesoamerican look. We come in all shapes and sizes because we are talking about thousands of years, over hundreds of miles from Mexico to Central America. But 2. There are clear Asiatic phenotypes, and DNA backs up the physical and phenotypical evidence. But we're not Asian. Our phenotypes responded to Mesoamericans' own specific regions. That's partly what impacts phenotype. The environment, which isn't the same throughout Mesoamerica. 3. Native Mesoamericans have melanin. There's obvious varying degrees, but natives are dark. We're people of the sun, and our skin reflects that. Lastly, although we've looked at it here, only using current phenotypes to determine what people looked like thousands of years ago is incredibly faulty. That's why scholars also use DNA, linguistics, archaeology, oral history, and other methods to determine our history. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please have a great day.